A pleasant afternoon to you. Out there, the program is Nigeria Now. We will be looking at some of the matters as they unfold in Nigeria. My name is Sela Elisha Dashim, and I'll be doing the program together with Rachel Tansey. Good afternoon, Rachel. All right, we have quite a lot of dramas and stories that we'd love to talk about on Nigeria Now, so we'll beg your indulgence to sit tight, and you can also contribute to the program by dropping your comment on our Facebook and YouTube, and then we'll do well to go through them and also, read them here on the show. And today we will be starting with the first story, which is talking about the off-cycle polls, talking about how INEC have affirmed that they are really ready for everything, talking about all the material that is needed is there. The security agency are on ground. ICPC have said that they will not tolerate any fraudulent whatsoever. The soldier and also the police have come out to state the fact that anybody that is bent on causing confusion, they will have themselves to blame. And I'm excited with all of this. And I mean, during the presidential election, we saw the same body language coming from the security agency. Even the governorship election in the 28 states, we saw the same readiness coming from both INEC and security agency. But what Nigerians are concerned about is what will be different about this particular offshore election. We know the reason why we're having the off-season or off-cycle election is reasons based on court cases, impeachment, annulment, and that is the reason why we're having certain states having their election off-cycle when others are having theirs at the same time collectively. Now, a lot of question in the mind of Nigerians, Richard, is the fact that what is different about this? We will recall what happened during the presidential election, that also people had to go to court, and then the interpretation of the constitution or the electoral act according to the appeal court different from what Nigerians knew it to be. And then right now we're seeing that they have a different, or will I say right now we have quite a number of things to actually look at and also to judge INEC, because believe you me, Rachel, this will be the test for INEC whether they are going to redeem themselves. Because a lot of times, or looking at the presidential election and also the governorship election, a lot of people have come out to say the fact that INEC is no longer transparent as it should be. If they say they are an independent body, but we've seen them acting in a kind of a way that make Nigerians to question them and make them feel like they are into politics rather than being independent and being neutral about any political party. But then, I mean, all that is needed to be done. I mean, by this time tomorrow, they should be rounding up elections in these various states, hopefully, even though we have about 5.1 million roughly in the 3 states. But we are hoping that the question here will be, will people turn up for this election? Because we've seen the body language. A lot of people have refused to go collect their PVC. ACOC staff are not even available. But the question is, will people turn up, and what will make this election different from the ones we had in February and also in March?
We already have INEC talking about voter apathy and all of those things that perhaps, despite they have 5.1 million registered voters, and I believe is the statistics for those whom have collected their card and the people that they are expecting in the polling unit from these 3 different states. I believe that for now, we can never know what will be different about these elections because it's yet to happen. Are we seeing the same amount of readiness from INEC? Yes. During the 2023 poll in February, INEC assured Nigerians 100% that they are ready. And so far, even for this poll, they have assured Nigerians that they are 100% ready. Was there deployment of security agents enough during the 2023 polls in February? Yes, there was. We saw them, we witnessed it. There was enough security agents around in polling unit. And in as much as there's a little bit crisis left, right, center, some ballot boxes being burned in certain areas and all of that, we had security personnel intercepting a lot of things that could have been more than what it was. And then we saw a little bit of security that was better compared to some that we've had in the past that led to the loss of a lot of core members' life and all of that. So far so good. PayPal, word of mouth feels like everything is in place. The same assurance we got in February, we are getting the same assurance. However, we have to wait and see. if all of this assurance INEC will deliver as they said they will. Because in the week I saw some little complaint from INEC trying to back up, saying the IREF portal is not for collation. And when you begin to hear such statement from INEC, I believe it's a red flag. Nobody said it's for collation. People just need to see real time what is happening. If by the time the biometrics are going on in this polling unit, for example, and we have that only 300 people came out to vote in this polling unit, we should know that it means 300 votes were casted in this place. So people, regardless of where I am, I here in Plateau State should be able to track that in Bayelsa, in polling unit 123, it was 300 people that biometrics was captured. Therefore, it should be that exact 300,000 people vote, whether it goes to PDP, APC, ABGA, Labour Party, whatever party it went, it shouldn't go beyond that 3,000. It's for people to be able to record or keep track of any discrepancies that may go on, and so that it's not only the eyes of people in Bayelsa that are on the polls or what is going on, but all of Nigerians. That's the aim, and this is the difference that I believe most Nigerians are looking for from INEC, because they failed us in this angle, and it is the reason why we have a lot of petitions, because this not playing out as it is made everybody feel there is foul play, there's malpractice, there's manipulation. If not, why are you not delivering as you have promised Nigerians? So far so good. It feels like everything is in place. From INEC, from security personnel, from every other, from the ICPC saying that they are going to wait and see for those who will be buying votes and all of that, which of course I believe these are some of the things that we don't have to wait till the election, because a lot of vote buying is happening right now. A lot of vote buying has happened yesterday. A lot of vote buying happened since Sunday. But then, either way, be there, be on guard. But I'm looking forward to where somewhere like ICPC will work prior to keeping tax secretly, being undercover, and try to make sure that vote buying doesn't happen in whatsoever form, because people are now more skeptical. It happens though, but it has reduced drastically to see vote buying happening at the polling unit. It always happens before. Also, I just hope that we just improve every day in everything we do in the country, and then we will definitely see a good amount of growth, and even with the way we go about things.
I was happy when even the defense headquarters came out and was saying the fact that they were able to identify some people who disguise themselves as army, and then they're able to arrest them. So that is to say that the security operatives there are actually working hard to fish out nuisance, to fish out people who are bent on causing confusion. And just like we keep saying over and over, is for the fact that everybody should make sure that your vote counts, because if you stay back at home and feel that whether I've cast my vote or not, it doesn't matter, believe me, one vote matters. One vote can change the narrative, because eventually when you fail to go out there to cast your vote, believe me, you'll be bent with a leader that you did not want or you did not vote eventually, and whatever policy that leader makes, eventually you are forced to, whether you like it or not, to actually follow the policy, because you're part of that citizen or the indigene of that state. So we'll keep our fingers crossed, and we hope that the security agency will do their best, and INEC will be able to come out and prove Nigerians and people wrong, people who feel that they cannot count on INEC again. I hope that we'll see them doing that. Now, still in the same vein, we are aware that even though the election is actually happening in Imo State, we've heard where Labour from last week came out to actually say the fact that they are starting a strike in Imo State as of last week, Wednesday, whereby electricity has been cut off since then, and we're seeing that a lot of things have been affected. Millions that are supposed to come into revenue through the electricity has been lost, and then even though it's not really totally, banks are still open, offices are still open in Imo State and all of that, but we're seeing that Labour have taken a drastic measure. Yes, we are aware the fact that they stopped the airplanes or the aviation sector over there, but they have gone as far as stopping the airport in Abuja, and as well as that also in Lagos State. And they are holding placards, they are holding a lot of things. In fact, they have mentioned this particular protest Operation Liberty, because they feel that they have been in so much will I say, bondage from the federal government. And the reason for the protest, of course, they said is the assault that took place on the president, because they feel that Joe Ajaero is a national figure. And they feel that rather than just concentrating on Imo State, they believe that the police that actually maltreated him are actually national figures, and they are answerable to the IGP. The IGP is answerable to the president. So they feel that they need the attention of the president. We heard where the aviation minister Keyamo came out to tell them the fact that, I mean, that sector has nothing to do with you. We are not the ones who actually assaulted the NLC president. So why are you now attacking the aviation system? Because a lot of people are stranded as it is. So I'm imagining somebody that is hoping to travel from Abuja down to Bayelsa or down to Imo State precisely because it's to Imo. Nobody goes in and nobody comes out. So imagine if you are supposed to travel from any of these places down there, you have to resort maybe using the Port Harcourt or using Enugu air flight, and that will be quite a lot of stress for people. I begin to ask, so what is the way forward? Because already Labour has said they are not stopping until the president addresses this issue, and the people who assaulted the NLC president are being brought to book. They will not stop protesting eventually.
You know, Sele, and it's funny for the aviation minister to say something like they're not the ones that attacked Ajaero, and therefore it shouldn't. No, NLC is just trying to make a statement. It doesn't matter. I mean, I believe if they went and blocked a major highway, maybe he will come out and say, why are you attacking road and walks and all of that, and maybe they will say it's not us that attacked you and all of that. No, it's about being heard, I believe, and wherever they go to, they believe that that's where impact will be felt the most, because it is at a very crucial period of time, because it's election, it's revenue, it's everything that needs to be done. It's for politicians living where they are, moving down to Imo. It's everything included in this whole process. And NLC is looking at where will we strategize ourselves in a way that we will be heard. So it's just happened that the aviation have to be the one feeling the blow. Yes, to suffer for it this time around. But it's all about being strategic in their plan. But I keep saying this, and I'll not stop overemphasizing it, that it's for the government to react. Everything NLC is doing is for the government to react. Of course, I'm not part of the Labour Congress, so I'm not on their side, neither am I on the side of the federal government of Nigeria. I'm on the side of the good people of Nigeria. What that means is that whatever it takes for the government of Nigeria to listen to the masses in Nigeria, to come to the aid of Nigerians, for palliatives to start rolling out, for minimum wages to improve, for allowances, for better policies, for better political governance, and every other thing to thrive in Nigeria. I'm on that side of whatever will make the government react. And this is what we are looking for, that as it is going on in Imo, then perhaps the Imo government should begin to start looking at who are those ghost workers you fired in the name of ghost workers. Because in the past, if ghost workers are being fired, nobody protests. It's silent because it's actually ghost workers. But now you're sacking ghost workers and people are complaining. It means you didn't sack ghost workers. It means leaving people going to the office every day were affected. That is why it has become a problem. What about arrears for pensioners, gratuities, and all of that? Do something. Act quickly. You are in the position to move everything and act. We can go at the federal government level. The federal government have now till Tuesday. Act. Just act. Because it feels like every other forms, method, and way didn't work. Just act, Sele. I just want the Nigerian government to act. Just start doing something. People are not finding it easy. Is the end of the year approaching? Is the festive season by the corner? We're beginning to have rampage of harvest, of ritualists. We're having more kidnapping, robbery, left, right, center, because everybody is trying to make ends meet. Don't make a good man become a bad man just trying to meet ends meet. Let the government of Nigeria just wake up and act and listen to the cry of people.
Rachel, when you talk about the cry of the people, sometimes, Nigerians are being tempted to feel like the government really does not care. That
Yeah.
is the feeling or the body language they are having. Because just like you said, I mean, these are workers who go to work every day. I can just imagine not being paid for 20 months, Rachel.
Yes.
That is quite a long period of time. Not
It
to talk
is.
about pensioners. Just when we saw, I think last month or so, when we saw pensioners slumming down. Why? Because of the heat situation. Some of them are even struggling with their health, and we know definitely with old age comes some health challenges. So I'm hoping that the governor of Imo State, because he's still the governor, I mean, for this off-season election, both Bayelsa and Imo State
Yeah.
are coming for second term. The only state we are having a fresh election totally is Kogi State. So I'm hoping that the governor of Imo State will not just sleep on this, because he is accountable to the people. And we keep repeating the fact that your number one responsibility is to protect lives and properties. Every other thing is secondary. So once you fail in this, the people feel it as much as you've not done anything. Forget that you make good roads. I mean, it's of no benefit. If I can't eat, how do I then make good use of all the
Exactly,
infrastructure
Sally.
we have
Yeah.
provided? So we are hoping that with this protest coming from Labour, even though it might look drastic, but I mean, drastic measures calls for drastic steps.
Exactly.
So we hope that the government will give the needed attention that Labour need them to give, and then they will do the right thing. Now let's quickly round up with the issue of Senate. Senate have called up for the sack, actually they are calling for the sack of some MDA heads, because it seems as if the heads are not really ready to work. Because Senate are looking at, hopefully they are supposed to have the budget
Yes.
before. We're being told, I mean, earlier this budget was supposed to come in first week of November,
Yes.
and we're already heading towards the second week of November, and it seems as if the MDAs are yet to submit some of the proposals that are needed for them, and some of them have even refused to turn up, for some of the meetings. In fact, we heard where the Senate president is saying the fact that he even had to sacrifice some of the last rally he had to go to support his party, just so that they can have this meeting, and then some MDAs are not. And it's needed that these MDAs have to show their support to the president,
important.
because when you fail to plan, you plan to fail eventually. And this is
Exactly.
what Godwin Opabio is saying about all of this. But we are hoping that the MDAs, possibly, they might have a reason. I mean, they're being given deadline today, right, to show up and show their support. Because most times we know that things don't go as it should be. We've heard where they say certain MDs should be merged, and then we're like, I mean, there are certain work that all of these MDs do, and they are actually needed. That is why we have them. So we're hoping that it doesn't get to that point where they have to be sacked, because it's needed that you do your own part. If you said you want to work, then you have to show the readiness. So right now, Senate are really not happy with what some of these MDs are. They are calling on the president to sack some of these heads as soon as possible.
Sela, this is the point at which we stop facing the politicians, we stop facing our leaders, pointing fingers at them and saying, bad governance, you're doing this, you're corrupt, you're sleeping on your job, and then start facing the common man in these offices. We're talking about directors in these MDAs and refusing to show up. You have no excuse whatsoever not to show up, because this is very crucial. Okay, it is crucial because we're talking about budget here. And tomorrow, Nigerians will complain that perhaps this MDA wasn't well funded, that MDA wasn't funded, or enough money wasn't given to this ministry, enough shouldn't. If you do not bring the report, or you're not absent in the review to be able to make a case for how much you get into your MDA, then who is to be blamed tomorrow? So is it a little bit harsh that the Senate president is? No, I don't think it's harsh. Like, why would you allow yourself to get to the position where you have to be threatened with your job? It means either way, whatever is the reason is not good enough, because maybe some MDAs are buying time because their book
audit some of their reports.
Exactly, Sele. They are buying time because their books are not up to date. What happened that your books are not up to date? So it means somebody is sleeping somewhere. People are sleeping on their jobs, and these are the things that bring the issues to the surface, because you're supposed to be quick. The earlier you go, the more your MDAs you bring your case and say why we need this money is important. But when you're wasting this much time, it's at the detriment of every other Nigerian. not just you and not just your office. And I just hope that this is where we say, what are you playing your role? If I'm the one in the position to have make my books up to date as a director in any of these MDAs, did I do it, or am I just always sitting down, not doing my own job, and then pointing hands on the politicians and the leaders and all of that? So this also shows that not only do we have leadership problems or governance or politic problems, but we also have individual problems with people that have been put in offices not doing what is expected of them to do.
Richard, this just exposed the decay that's happening in our system.
Yes.
You just really just stated the fact that we have a lot of decay going on. A lot of corruption is going on. And just like you said, possibilities that we're just speculating.
Maybe.
The reasons why these
We
MDAs
are.
have refused
Exactly.
to show up, because you cannot complain that a particular location is not being given to your agency or your ministry. Meanwhile, you did not show up.
And you haven't said a word.
And you've not said a word. So whatever is given to you, you have no choice than to accept it. And we keep pointing our fingers on our leaders. Meanwhile, we also have the problem.
Yes.
So I'm hoping that the MDAs will be able to do something. That's talking about the bosses, the leaders,
Yes.
and their heads. And then they'll be able to show up with their books, show up with whatever they need to bring up to the Senate, so that the Senate can put everything together and then be able to look into the budget and be sure that every agency, every ministry is actually getting the proper location
Yes.
that is needed. Well, Richard, I think we have to draw it a day here. Thank you so much for doing
You're
this
welcome,
with me.
Sarah.
And thank you to our viewers and also to our supporters for keeping a day with us on Nigeria Now. Until we come your way again, do have a blessed weekend ahead.